In a small village, Old Man Kenji was a legendary farmer, but his 3 sons were hopelessly lazy. They were strong enough to lift a cow, but preferred napping and arguing over working. Kenji watched them waste their days, worried his farm would fall apart after he was gone. He tried yelling, begging, even bribing them. Nothing worked. The sons, Ikuro, Jiro, and Saburo, saw the farm as a boring backdrop, not a legacy. Food just appeared for them. Work was a foreign concept. Kenji's hands were calloused from years of toil, while his sons were soft and idle. He knew if he died, the farm would be abandoned or sold. Desperate, Kenji realized he needed a drastic plan to shake them out of their laziness. The clock was ticking, and his sons remained oblivious to the value of what they had. Kenji sat on his porch, watching his sons nap, and decided it was time for one last, brilliant move. He would give them a reason to work, a reason they couldn't ignore. The future of the farm and his family's legacy depended on it. He began to craft a plan that would change everything. The story of the 3 useless sons was about to take a wild turn. Sensing his end was near, Kenji called his sons to his bedside. He put on his best dramatic act. "My sons, before I go, I must reveal a secret." The brothers leaned in, suddenly interested. "There's a great treasure buried somewhere on this farm, a chest of gold and jewels." Their eyes lit up. This was the adventure they'd been waiting for. Kenji added, "I can't remember the exact spot. You'll have to search the fields." The promise of riches was all the motivation they needed. They swore to find the treasure, already dreaming of their fortune. Kenji passed away days later, satisfied he'd planted the seed of ambition. The treasure was a lie, but he hoped their greed would finally get them moving. The stage was set for the ultimate treasure hunt. Would they finally work for something? Kenji's final gamble was in motion. The farm's fate now rested in their hands. As soon as the morning ended, the brothers grabbed shovels and stormed the fields. For the first time, they woke up at dawn, driven by greed, not duty. "The treasure is mine. No, I'll find it first." Arguments erupted as they dug. Chaos reigned, random holes, blisters, and frustration. Days passed. No chest, no gold, just endless dirt. Exhaustion set in, but the lure of treasure kept them going. Realizing their chaos was pointless, they divided the farm into sections and dug methodically, row by row. Weeks went by. The entire farm was tilled, every inch overturned. Still nothing. Their hope faded. "The old man tricked us!" Jiro shouted, throwing down his shovel. Saburo slumped in defeat. "All this work, for nothing!" They stared at the perfectly plowed fields, not realizing what they'd accomplished. For the first time, they'd worked harder than ever before. The treasure hunt had changed them, even if they didn't see it yet. The farm was transformed, ready for something new. The brothers sat in silence, unsure what to do next. The real lesson was just beginning. The fields waited, full of potential. As the brothers rested, an old neighbor walked by and laughed. "You boys finally worked. Your father would be proud." He pointed out the perfectly tilled fields. "You've done the hardest part. Why not plant some seeds?" Unsure, the brothers agreed. It seemed a waste to leave the land bare. The neighbor gave them seeds and taught them how to plant. For the first time they listened, working together to sow the fields. It was hard, but different. They shared the load, learning as they went. As they finished, a quiet pride replaced their earlier greed. They'd turned their failed treasure hunt into a new beginning. The brothers started to care for the fields, watering and weeding. They had no idea if anything would grow, but they were finally invested. The farming arc had begun. Seasons changed, and green shoots appeared, strong, healthy, and plentiful. The brothers' hard work paid off. The harvest was the biggest the farm had ever seen. They worked together, no longer arguing, but planning and learning. The barns overflowed. The market brought in more money than they'd ever imagined. As they counted their earnings, realization dawned. "The old man really got us," Jiro laughed. "The treasure wasn't gold," Ikiro said, smiling. Saburo looked at his calloused hands. "The treasure was the farm and the work." Their father's lesson had worked. True wealth was something you create, not find. The brothers became the hardest working farmers in the village. They expanded the farm, tried new crops, and prospered. They lived happily, grateful for their father's wisdom. The real treasure was within themselves all along.